All right. Well, welcome everyone. We've got a brand new season upon us. It's 2025, uh, Easter Sunday right now, and spring is definitely around the corner. So, hoping everyone has a good time getting out this year. Um, Hopefully, we have some early play. I think last year we got out pretty late due to the cold weather, but hopefully this year's a little different. Wanted to do a in the bag session with everybody just to see what we're dealing with here ahead of the 2025 season, as well as any changes that might be around the corner since I know you've all been begging for this. Um, so without further ado, here we go. We'll start out with our putters. So I like to throw the Dynamic Disc Warden, which is pretty neutral for any longer putts, things that require a little bit of understability but mostly straight. I'll try and stick with the Warden. Going to try and throw this a little bit more this year. Have been throwing some overstable putters for a long time, and that really makes distance putting challenging. So trying to get something a little more neutral, and hopefully that helps with longer putts. So we'll see. Warden's also a pretty good short range straight thrower as well for any upshots, but short range, nothing too far. For my overstable putter, which I've been putting with for the past few years, is a Dynamic Disc Slammer. So they don't make these anymore, or at least they didn't. Maybe they do now. Pretty overstable, so consistent fade every time, which is why I've always putted with it. But again, with distance putting, it fades too much and it's hard to keep straight. So usually use this for forehand upshots very consistently. Backhand upshots if I need some fade. Otherwise, yeah, I've mostly been putting with it and trying to change that this season. We'll see how that goes. Also in my bag, I've got a second slammer that I picked up, just in case I lose the first one somehow. Again, I really like this for consistency with upshots, especially forehand. So don't want to miss the opportunity to throw that once more. I've also got this Quantum, which I don't even know what it is. I've tried to look it up a few times, but haven't had any luck. It's very understable and flies pretty straight. So if I need something of distance for a mid-range, sometimes I'll throw this. I try not to just because it's yellow and opaque. So I don't doubt if I'll lose that this season. But last year was pretty good for longer shots that are a little understable from the mid-range perspective. One I'm going to try and throw a little bit more this year is the Evidence from Dynamic Discs. Again, they don't make this one either. It's a 5.5 -1.0, so a very straight, slightly understable mid-range. I have really liked this one for tunnel shots and anything of good mid-range distance, possibly a little longer, that just requires a straight shot. For whatever reason, I like this one with its predictability, since something like the Mako that's 0-0, I just can't I can't seem to consistently throw that straight since it flies on whatever line you let it go on. This one you can hyzer a little bit more. It lands out pretty reliably, and for that reason I like it for those longer straight shots. In the bag I've also got a G-Star V-Rock, which is kind of the opposite side of the Evidence. It's a 4401, so anything that needs a longer straight shot with a little bit more overstability fade, I like to throw the V-Rock. Usually use this for backhand upshots only. That's pretty much all I throw it for. Similar to the V-Rock, kind of the same disc as the MD3 by Discmania. Started throwing this one last year, mostly due to Josh and his love of Discmania, so trying to see what all the hype is about. I've been an Innova guy for a long time, so trying to branch out, test some new stuff, and see how this one works. Liked it a little bit last year. The one thing Discmania has over other discs, I feel, is the hand feel. Whenever you're holding it, it just feels a lot. Whoa. Timber, as they say. Hopefully we don't break our phone doing this. We'll see. But yeah, I like this one. Feels good in the hand, as I was saying. And mostly testing it out this year. Last year tried it, liked it. We'll try and throw it a little bit more this year. Now coming up are probably my two favorite discs to throw, period. Both are the same. Again, one's a backup just in case I lose one of them. But the Star Leopard is hands down my favorite disc to throw. It's very versatile. It's understable, so it's a 6.5 -2.1. If you throw it as hard as you can, you do get a little bit of understability and fade to the right for a backhand throw. If you throw a little bit lighter, it usually holds straight and then fades, but it's very consistent and reliable. So I'll even use this for driving off the tee pad if I need a longer straight shot, and any long fairway shots. I really like this one for backhand. So if you see me on tour throwing anything fairway driver-ish, it's usually one of these Leopards, and I would definitely buy another one instantly if I lost one of these two. So definitely my favorite disc to throw. Very solid. Last of the mid-range here is the Rock 3 that we dyed up at Mike's place a year or two ago. It's really one of the only overstable mid-ranges I have. Don't use it that often because, again, I like to typically throw the slammer, the putter, for overstable upshots, but if I need something of longer distance, I'll sometimes use the Rock 3. Seldom use it, but there might be a instance where I bring it out. Very rare though. So moving on to some of the higher speed fairway drivers and distance drivers. We've got a Star Sidewinder, which is very understable. I'll use this for anything that needs to fade right away with a backhand shot. So really only throwing this for long distance, usually just on drives off the tee pad. And yeah, I've liked it. I've wanted to get one for a while. Ended up picking this up last year, I think, at the beginning of the season, and have been throwing it quite a bit. Really like it. Anyone that needs some understability with a disc, highly recommend the Star Sidewinder. It's very, very solid. No complaints. Moving on to one of my favorite distance drivers. Again, just as much distance as I can. Backhand shots. Pro Wraith. Pro is definitely a key with the plastic type for me on the Nova because it's more understable than the others, which again helps with distance. So if I'm able to get good form on a good shot, I can usually max distance with this disc. Pretty consistent, and can lean into, I guess, as much understability as I want while keeping the disc straight, if that makes any sense. So try and let the disc do most of the work and strain itself out for that reason. But I've been throwing this one for a while. I have a few Pro Wraiths. This one is, again, a backup Pro Wraith. Anything that I like to throw often, I always have a second of, just in case I lose one, and would hope everyone else does as well, because it's sad to lose a disc you like to throw often. Another one that I found while playing in Traverse City, Michigan with some college friends is a Star Savant. Never thought I'd end up throwing this one, never heard of this one before I found it, and I'm glad I did, because this happens to be the most reliable, straightest distance driver I have. So for any super long tunnels or any shots that I just need the disc to hold straight for as long as possible, I'll usually start throwing this one. leaned into it a lot last season, and have just really liked it. It has the -1-2 finish, so it'll hold some understability while maintaining a straight flight for the most part, and then reliably fades to the left at the end. Very solid. And for my arm, since I'm not crazy distance thrower, the 9.5 -1-2 is kind of the sweet spot for me. And after last season, I thought about distance drivers. I probably won't be throwing much over a 9 or a 10 speed because I can't throw much over 300, 350, so no need to really club up, as they say, for something of higher speed if I can't even get past that normally. So Starf Savant have really liked that. One I've been throwing for a while now is a Champion Valkyrie. This one, again, very reliable distance, similar to the Savant, but if I need a little more understability for longer, so I want it to fade to the right during the distance drive and then finish usually neutral, this is the best disc I found for myself personally. So I'll try and pipe this on open holes, again for distance because it will fade out to the right with the -2, and then it'll finish 2, so usually finishes straight in line with the T-pad, which is great as long as you have the distance going off to the right. So usually only open shots, nothing really wooded, because it moves too much. It's not straight, but it does get a lot of distance. So I like this one for shots on a hill, like looking down, king of the hill type shots, and anything in the open field. I'll usually bring this one out since the placement on the backhand shot is reliable, and I usually can get that pretty accurate. So if I'm not looking for max distance but accuracy and distance, I'll use this one. This one, similar to the Sidewinder, is a Champion Roadrunner. This is the most understable disc I own, and it's a 9.5 -4-1. So this thing, if I throw it flat and straight on a distance drive, this thing's just gonna go right, almost as the whole flight. It'll probably finish a few clicks to the right, but sometimes if I'm not looking to forehand a shot and have it fade right the whole way, and I want a little more distance, or I want to throw backhand, this is the one I'll use. Again, I highly recommend anyone that wants something understable for backhand to try something similar to the Roadrunner or Sidewinder, just because it helps your distance with the understability, and it's nice to have something that really works for you as opposed to you trying to turn over something on a backhand shot. So Champion Roadrunner, threw this a ton last year, plan to do it again this year. This might be one I need to get a backup for because I don't believe I have one yet. So if I lose that one, I will be sad. All right, home stretch. So 3 more here. We've got a G-Star Mamba, similar to the Roadrunner. It's also understable, but for whatever reason, this disc, when I throw it, is not understable. It flies incredibly straight. So if I'm looking again for max distance, something that's very straight, I'll throw the Mamba. Or if I'm just trying to rip one as hard as possible, I'll put this one on a little bit of a hyzer and just absolutely throw my arm out and see what happens. It was good to me last year. I don't think I can replace this particular disc because I've thrown it for a couple years now. So if I happen to lose it, I doubt I can find one that flies quite the same. So that would be a shame. Hoping it doesn't leave my bag, but we'll see. So yeah, G-Star Mamba, love it. Now moving on to my only 2 overstable distance drivers. Everything else is understable, which again helps with distance. In these 2, I don't even throw backhand. I don't think I really throw anything backhand that's a distance driver other than the understable ones. So the 2 overstable discs I have are a Star Thunderbird, which is one of them. Again, Thunderbird's super reliable for me forehanding. So the only 2 discs I forehand that are drivers are the Thunderbird and this next one. If I need a tunnel shot forehand, so I'm just trying to get a finish to the right as opposed to the left, I'll forehand the Thunderbird. Again, this one focusing mostly on being straight and having some length to it. So love the Thunderbird for that. Have a backup of this one. Very reliable. Will not flip on me unless I'm throwing it into the wind. So can usually crank this one out, throw as much power on it as I want. Usually holds a straight line and then finishes right. So very nice for that. And then last but certainly not least, we have my most thrown disc of all time. I had this one the longest of any disc I've ever owned. Somehow still haven't lost it, which is a miracle. When we were up in Rhinelander this last year at the first course we played, that was super pretty, very mossy. I forget the name of it. Might have been Sandy Point. Thought I lost this one and spent easily probably 10 to 20 minutes looking for it. So thank all of you who were there helping me search. It ended up being up in a tree. I did not see it. Someone else did. Definitely would not have found it if you didn't see it in the tree. So thank you very much. But this one is a Champion Boss. Don't know how long I've had it, but again, a few years. And this is easily my most thrown forehand disc of all time. So forehands only, never thrown this backhand. If I'm looking for my max forehand distance, I'll throw the Boss, and usually need a little bit of space because it likes to flex and fade. So I can throw this on I guess that's a forehand hyzer line, as hard as I want, and because it's so overstable, it'll always turn right for me, which is great. And as a result, I can put almost any angle shape I want on it, knowing that it'll swoop and then come back to the right every time. So just depending on the amount of speed I put on it and the angle, I can get it to place very accurately where I want to. So similar to the Champion Valkyrie for backhand, the Boss is the same for me for forehand. Put as much on it as I want. Can try and throw it straight, but usually it's, again, going to have a very hard hook to the right, so anything long and right, this is the disc I go to. And some of you have probably seen me on tour. I'll use this one for very short distance shots as well. If I need a heavy hook to the right, I'll throw this one. Any rollers that I throw, I also happen to just throw this one as well. For whatever reason, most people, I think, tend to throw an understable disc when they roll. I found forehanding the Boss to be very consistent for me and predictable with its finish to the left on rollers. So roller finish to the left, forehand finish to the right. Boss is definitely the most versatile disc I have, and have a backup of this of the same mold, which I'm very lucky for. So I do feel confident that if I lost this one, I could use that other one and have it throw similar. But love this disc. Again, thrown it for years. I wouldn't be who I am without it. Yeah, definitely a big time thrower. So love that one. And then lastly for this year, I have a few that I might start throwing. Again, this was heavily influenced by Josh Collins, so whether or not I do end up throwing them, I don't know. I tend not to like throwing brand new discs just because they look and feel so nice. I'd rather look at them, but that's just me. So one of them is a Discmania Origin. This one's a 5.5 -1/1, so I would throw this for long, straight upshots, maybe drives, anything that I want distance on. I would consider throwing the Origin. Haven't thrown it yet. We'll field test it this year, see how it goes. But definitely like the hand feel, and picked this guy up actually at a Sierra for $10. So can't go wrong with that. And even if I don't like it, it's really pretty disc, so I'm sure someone will eventually. And then two more discs which are similar. We have the C-Line FD1, which is a 7402, and we have the FD, just FD, which is a 7601. So I haven't thrown a T-Bird by Innova in a really long time. When I first started throwing, around the time Josh taught me about disc golf, I really liked throwing the T-Bird for long straight shots. Lost the disc I used to throw, never bought another one. But the FD1 has the same flight pattern as the T-Bird, so I'm hoping that I can try this one out. Hopefully it ends up being similar. And then if so, I might add this one to my bag this year. Again, we'll field test, see how it flies, possibly add it. And then the FD is just a straighter version of the T-Bird. So I think Josh throws this one. I have not thrown it yet. Again, we'll field test, but if I'm looking for a very straight tunnel shot or a open field shot that I just need very, very accurate distance with, I might try and throw this one. I won't throw it if it becomes understable, since for faster fairway drivers, it seems to be a challenge for me to control anything that wants to just flip over on a backhand if it's not naturally understable. So we'll see. But again, these were also $10 at Sierra, so can't go wrong with the price. And the C-Line plastic by Discmania is just gorgeous. Feels great in the hand, looks great. Throwing great is definitely a different story. That might be a nightmare, but we'll see. So those are the ones I'll add to the bag this year. And if I do, you'll see them on tour. If not, then they just didn't work out for me, and might look to trade them. So we'll see. That's all I got. Hope you guys all have a good opening to 2025, and we'll see you on tour soon. See ya.